Hey guys, this is Nigel from GosuGamers reporting from the third and last day of Viagame House Cup. I'm joined today by Mlasic, yeah, who did, I think, unexpectedly well in the tournament, coming from the open qualifiers. First, man, I'm really glad that you're joining me here. Let's start with telling me how did you prepare for the qualifiers and, entering these 20K tournament.
I prepared. I was trying to predict what the other players will be playing, but at that time, like Hunter and Miracle were very prevalent, so I chose not to play them and chose counter decks. So I played the Death Rattle Priest, which did very well against Hunter at that time, and I also chose Handlock to counter Miracle Rogues, and I also played Warrior because he's like very good against everything except for Paladin and maybe Priest.
How did you building from the for the qualifiers and for the main event? Obviously, is very different because here we have the ban and pick format and with online classes. Did you have to adjust your playstyle or deck building to fit the main event compared to the qualifiers?
Yeah, I did. I would like to shout out to my teammates, Malios, Dagger, and Tues. They helped to prepare me a lot. We simulated that pick and ban phases and played those games for the new format. And also had to play. I tested a lot of some classes that I didn't play a lot before, so to prepare because I wasn't that comfortable with them.
What was your hardest class to prepare for?
I don't really know. I don't find any class that difficult to prepare. But
which one did you have least experience then with?
The Freeze Mage.
I think you played it in the tournament, right? I think you did pretty well.
Once, but I lost against Colento. I think I made a little bit of a misplay, but he also stole my Straza from a deck, so...
Yeah, Colento does this, yeah. You had a very difficult group with, you mentioned Colento, but there was also Reynad and Faramir. Yeah. You actually started with Colento against Reynad, who's, I think, a lot of people expected him to do well, even though he hasn't been doing too good in the recent tournament, but he's still a community favorite. Do you get faced by meeting such big names, you yourself being a little bit unknown, I would say, to the wide public?
No, I faced a lot of those pros on the ladder. I also faced Colento twice on ladder and beat him twice, so I know I can beat anybody.
You're not worried at all, meeting big players in...
No, I'm not faced by names. Because names don't matter. Names only matter on paper, I think.
Yeah, I would agree actually, because we've seen although the invited players did better than the qualified, we still had you and Siloko, advancing. So you mostly played Shaman and Druid this tournament. What do you like best about these classes, and why did you favor them so much?
Well, Shaman was kind of my favorite class from the start. It isn't quite as strong as now as it was before Naxxramas, I think. But if you get good RNG because of the totems and stuff, it has a really good chance to beat anybody. And Druid also, if you get a very good innervate starts, it also you can just rush them down and beat everybody also. And I also expected a lot of Freeze Mage to be played, so I picked that double combo Druid because I think it's kind of one of the best counters along with Warrior against the Mage.
You said you're not phased out by the big names. Do you think this is a problem with other unknown names that are coming here, or the general population of up-and-coming players? Do you think that they're scared of coming and facing the Colentos, the Renas, the Amazes?
I don't know, maybe. Or I had one live event in poker that was kind of that. We were online qualified and we played they were making a show, and it was broadcast on the sports television and stuff. So I had some experience about it. I wasn't nervous in playing, and also had some experience I played in one LAN event, but it's all in your head. You just need to concentrate on the games, and I wasn't talking about other players if they were nervous and stuff, so I don't know, but I wasn't really nervous. So
you mentioned poker. Is this your entire card game background, or have you played more traditional TCGs like Magic or Pokemon? Because a lot of the HearthStone players actually come from this background.
Oh, I played Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit 15 years ago, but also I played the schnapps,
I've not not the alcohol, right?
No, it's a card game. It's called you have only 20 cards. You don't know?
I haven't heard of it. I'm probably sound stupid if I don't know. Is it big? Like is it popular overall, the card game?
Well, it used to be like they played a lot. Like when I was a kid, we played it a lot. So it's not that popular anymore. But I also like we played at school those car games. You know, you had those cars with cars and like you know, and like with ships and stuff. So I always loved to play card games.
When I talked to you last night after you finished your quarterfinal run, you said that beating Granada and doing well against Hamas show that you can be a very competitive player. Do you think do you want to go to more events now in the future, or like what's your plans coming for the rest of the year in terms of HearthStone competition?
Yeah, I didn't think a lot about like my future plans, but I would love to go to other events and I will keep playing Hearthstone. I hope there will be like more open qualified, like tournaments with open qualified spots. Maybe if I'm lucky, I might get some invites or stuff. But next month there is a big LAN event coming on in our country, so I'll be attending that in Ljubljana, in our capital city.
Will it be going to Dreamhack Bucharest? Maybe it's still like a Balkan event, so a bit closer to you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there aren't any really cheap flights to Bucharest from my vicinity, so I don't know. Maybe if I get like an offer or some sponsorship, some help then I might go. But I don't plan it for this year at least.
The quarterfinal final game you played was against Hamas. It went to full 7 games. Looking back at it, where do you think do you think you made some misplay that cost you the game, or was Hamas just playing better?
I don't think I did. I know I did a few minor mistakes, but I don't think there was like a big mistake that costed me the games. I also didn't know more than 2 of his decks because he went through 2-0 twice and he like casted all of my games, so he knew a bit more of my decks. But I think I was like also twice very unlucky with my lightning storms.
These lost you the games, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He was a little bit luckier, I think, because if I might have had high rolls on one of those lightning storms, I might have won the series. So I was a little bit disappointed after our series, but overall I'm very happy with my achievement here.
You should be like, it was a really entertaining game, and we were actually watching with the other guys and saying that, first of all, you should always roll high. This is a hint from a pro tip, like always roll high on Lightning Storm. This wins you the game. But yeah, I think nobody knew who'd win until the game was actually over, because it was a really close 7 series. Actually, anybody who's watching this interview should actually go and check it out. The quarterfinal games between Mlasic and Hamas was really high quality games. So you're a member of a zone. How is the practice going with your teammates?
I'm a member of Dactylian Esports.
Oh, I am so...
Ozone is our latest sponsor.
Wow. Okay, so you're a member of Dactylian, and I am a retard. So tell me, how is the practice going with your team? Like, do you have a practice schedule? So prepare specifically for events? Who deck builds? Who tests?
No, like we are not like a professional team. So some of the players have like full-time jobs, and like if we usually prepare a little bit before like some bigger tournaments, or if anybody wants to test any specific decks or any specific matchups, he just like ask one of the players, and they usually when they find time and they play.
Being Slovenian, you're a member of the Eastern or Central European Hearthstone scene, and we've actually seen a few players trying to get their names out there. In Gentleman Cup, we see Isuba, Irines, Mia competing. Where do you think your local, or rather the Eastern/Central European scene stands compared to, I would say, like North America or Europe in general?
I think we are also on the same level like other players, but we have like a lot of those countries here aren't eligible to participate in the BlizzCon qualifier, so it's a little bit harder to get known or to get your name out. But like we also know like Beharit was a very excellent player. He was always top legend. RDU, for example, and I think Blazing Glory is Bulgarian. I think.
Blazing Glory is Bulgarian.
And also like a few players from Slovenia. Like also my teammate Dagger was a top 100 a few times on the monthly legendary rank, and there were other players. I also like Grimjaw and Sus. They won a few ESL Cups before, and so
yeah, they're especially doing very well in the Gentleman Cup actually. So
yeah, they did pretty well.
So obviously, like getting more open qualifiers for big events will help untelevised scene get more exposure. The Viagame actually had it 50-50. 8 invites, 8 qualifiers. Do you think this is a good ratio, or they should expand more and maybe have like 4 players just invited for 16 and leave all the other spots for open qualifiers?
I think like that 8 was like really great now because there were like only 1 invite for some of those biggest online tournaments now that were.
Yep.
But I think it probably should be like at least 75% of qualifying spots and like only a quarter of invited players. But now I understand that the game is still like new and they need to attract viewers, so they invite those important names. I mean the most famous players.
You think this will change in 2015 as the scene grows?
Yeah, I hope so, and I think it will because as more tournaments happen, there will be a lot more probably some players cropping up that because even in Slovenia, like every tournament that is, there are some new players that show up and they do really well. So.
Out of the qualified players for Viagame, who made it a strong impression? Obviously, you qualified, and Salako also made it to the quarterfinals. But there also a lot of the other guys also played some very good games, I would say. Who do you like best in terms of play style from these qualified guys?
I couldn't watch like all the games from the qualified players because we only had one stream upstairs that we were watching. But I didn't saw the Faramir's games, but he was like a really strong player. I think he like did really well in some latest tournaments. He was very close to qualifying for the BlizzCon event in Stockholm and also in the latest Prismata Cup.
Yeah, so, I think he finished top 4 in Prismata.
So and also Vodkita is a great player, as far as I know. Also Jinsen, I think they're all really good players because they managed to qualify. Because the qualifiers were really stacked, like also like Savish and Thais and other big names took part in the qualifiers.
Okay, thanks, man. Thank you for joining me for the interview. This was Najra with Mlasic. Follow him and Mlasic HS on Twitter and follow us at GosuGamers HS. Stay tuned.